Okay, class, this is Remote Learning Best Practices. My name is Kyle Smith. I teach at Manual Tech. I teach multimedia. I'm going to go over a few of things that I feel I've learned from doing some remote teaching, but also going to give you some information from some different websites, starting with just some statistics. Distance learning statistics. Even prior to the pandemic, the e-learning market in the U.S. will have grown to 6.22 U.S. billion between 2017 and 2022, according to Technavio. Um, I think this is interesting because it kind of shows that we're already looking at growth, and we've been looking at growth since 2017 before the pandemic even happened. So I think this is going to help you understand that this is, although this may be painful now, it also is probably necessary because that's where the industry is heading. Um, the most recent National Center for Education Statistics data reports that out of approximately 19.9 million total college and university students in America, almost 6.9 million of them, close to 35%, are enrolled in some form of distance education for 2019. So it's not something that they're not going to bump into later in life. And especially if we're preparing them for college, they need to learn how to be ready to learn online. So in undergraduate studies in 2019, Statista states that 65% of online students were female and 35% reported as male. I just thought this was an interesting statistic. I'm not sure why that is, but I just thought it was worth mentioning. The U.S. Department of Education reports that students completing online courses perform slightly better than their traditionally educated counterparts. Now, I know that could be countered with, reasons like maybe that they aren't always grading as hard because they're online and there's sympathy. But I think a lot of the things like the graduate programs and things like that, I think there's people that can handle doing things online and they like the no distractions and it's convenient to their life. So I think that's a good option for them. And I think that there's other things like I feel that when I'm learning online, I'm most likely to be distracted by having to get to class, having to um, interact with people, maybe. I don't know. There could be many reasons. I thought this next slide was kind of interesting. It shows distance learning statistics as far as um, ethnicity. The National Center for Education Statistics provides the following breakdown percentage of students in terms of their ethnic background. Undergraduates enrolled in distance learning according to ethnicity: 33% Caucasian, 32.7 African American, 27.9 Hispanic, 26 Asian, and it keeps on going. And these numbers are all pretty similar. So I guess what I'm trying to show is that it also is talking about the fact that we are we are bridging a gap, allowing people in other countries to learn online and making education more accessible. If you think about it, colleges were originally established to house knowledge, so they'd have the different tools available, like a library and the greatest books and things like that. But they'd also have teachers and scholars that were well versed in what they did. So now that we have online learning, it's kind of made it so you don't necessarily have to travel to do that. You can do that from home. And I think that's going to help bridge gaps for different ethnicities and income statuses and things like that. So, anyways, these are just some facts to talk about. And my point of this is that I don't feel that online learning is going away, although we all want to get back to in person. I don't think actually we all do. I think there are some people that have embraced this and really enjoy this. I really enjoy the online learning. So this is just a sample of what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about some remote learning best practices. And we're going to start by going over some remote teaching tips.